النهارده بقى ان شاء الله نبدا ندخل في الدرس بعد ما خدنا الريفيجن بتاعت امبارح اللي هو الكيميكال رياكشن، وفهمنا يعني ايه كيميكال رياكشن. هنقول ايه هي الاكزامبلز على حاجات in our daily life that indicating that it is the meaning of the chemical reaction, like the burning of a car fuel inside the car engine which make the car moves. This is an example of the chemical reaction occurs inside the car engine by the reaction of the benzene or the fuel inside the engine and forming a new product. One of these products is the kinetic energy that make the car moves. Also, when the plants make its own food, if we remember from primary 5 or our previous studying, when carbon dioxide gas in air is absorbed by the plant with water in the presence of the sunlight, and this occurs in the green leaves especially because the presence of the chlorophyll, it will produce the food of the plant and oxygen gas. This is an example of the chemical reaction which is called the photosynthesis process. Right. Now we want to know what are the types of the chemical reaction. Do the chemical reactions similar or they are different? No, they are different. Today inshallah we will take one type of the chemical reaction which is called the thermal decomposition. احنا عندنا هنا types of chemical reaction. Number 1, the thermal decomposition. Let's understanding the concept of the thermal decomposition reaction. For example, you know from before yesterday when we are talking about the magnesium which is burned in the presence of the oxygen, it will produce the magnesium oxide which is the white powder. We call the magnesium oxide is the product. Magnesium with oxygen is the reactant. You have a question now. Does magnesium oxide will produce if there is no heat? I mean, if I have a magnesium strip in the presence of the oxygen gas, does magnesium oxide, which is the white powder, is produced? Of course, no. Why? Because to complete this kind of the reaction, magnesium should be burned or heat in the presence of the oxygen. If you heat it, this product will produce. So this is the simpler form or the simpler meaning of the thermal decomposition. I mean what? I mean I need a heat to make the reaction. Let's take an equation which indicates this kind of the reaction. If I have HGO, what is HGO? Hg mercury. O oxygen على بعضهم which is called mercuric oxide, and it's characterized by its red color. So the color of the mercuric oxide is what? Is a red color. What happened when I heat the mercuric oxide? This compound, it's a compound. Why it is a compound? Because it consists of different atoms. It will be decomposed. What is meant by decomposed? Convert into simpler form. This is the meaning of the decomposition. It will be converted, it will be changed into simpler elements or simpler form طب what will be the product? It will be Hg plus O. Is that correct? No, it should be O2. Why? Because all gases found in nature in a form of diatomic, 2 atoms, except the inert gas. طيب, let's see the reactant and the product. This is called, as I said before, reactant. And this is called a product. What will happen? The red mercury oxide, under the effect of heat, will be changed into the mercury. What is the color of the mercury? Its color is silver. And oxygen gas. You have a question now. This chemical equation in front of you, is it balance? What is meant by balance? I mean that the number of atoms in the reactant equal the number of atoms in the product. How come? I mean, if you have in a reactant 1 mercury, you should have in the product 1 mercury atom, and so on. If you look to this equation, you will observe that 1 mercury and 1 mercury, 1 oxygen and 2 oxygen in the product. I have a problem in the balancing of the oxygen between the reactant and the product. So what we can do? We can multiply by 2. This means what? This means that in the reactant 2 mercury and 2 oxygen. 2 for all your prep 3. When I write 2 in front of the chemical compound, I mean in this 2, I mean for all the compound. Okay, you pass now the oxygen, the product 2, the reactant now 2. But you have another problem appear in the product. What is the problem? You have now 2 mercury. Here you have 1 mercury. عشان دي plus يعني ده بعيد عن ده في البالانس. طب what shall I do? I will put 2. طب what will happen now? Look at the chemical equation at all. 2 mercury in the reactant, 2 mercury in the product, 2 oxygen atoms in the reactant. Also I have 2 oxygen atoms in the product. So I can say that this chemical equation is balanced. Okay, you have here a question now. Give reason. A silver color is produced due to the heat or due to heating the mercuric oxide. Again, a silver color is formed by heating the mercuric oxide. What will be the answer? The silver color indicating which kind of the element, the oxygen or the mercury, as you see. Of course, you know that the oxygen is a gas, and the oxygen gas is colorless. So the presence of the silver color, it means the formation of the mercury. Again, when you have a question, give reason. A silver color is formed by heating the mercuric oxide. Well, the answer will be due to the formation of mercury, because mercury always forever has a silver color. Then after you write this answer, you should write the equation above, but you will write it below this answer. When you have a give reason about the colors, you will write due to the formation of the mercury, it is insufficient or it is not an enough answer. You have incomplete mark. To take a complete mark or to get a complete mark, you should write the equation which indicates your answer. So we have now one example, one chemical equation indicating the meaning of the thermal decomposition. خلاص؟ طبعا this is you should study hard وتحفظها كويس جدا. We have another chemical equation to show the meaning of the thermal decomposition. I have copper hydroxide. احنا قلنا امبارح الكيميكال فورمولا هنحفظ الحاجات اللي انا كاتباها. ادي كده الكبر هيدروكسيد اهو. خلاص هعمل له ايه عادي جدا؟ هنعمل له heat. It will be decomposed يعني changes into simpler form, changes into copper oxide plus H2O water. If you look at the reactant and the product, you will observe that number of atoms will be equal. طيب, the color of copper oxide is black. So when I ask you, give reason, a black material is formed by heating the copper hydroxide. Will be the answer what? Due to the formation of copper oxide. Then I should write the equation. So this equation number 2. 3. You have the copper carbonate. And the color of the copper carbonate green. And the color of the copper hydroxide blue. Then exposing to heat, I mean thermal decomposition, the product will be CuO, copper oxide. طيب, I took only one oxygen atom. How many oxygen atoms remain? هيبقى عندي ايه؟ 2. So the product will be CO2. Also the chemical equation is balanced. And the color of the copper oxide, as I said for the previous equation, is also black. So the question is, formation of the black material by heating the green copper carbonate. The answer will be the same. Due to the formation of copper oxide, then you should write the equation. طيب, يبقى النهارده هنحفظ ال 3 equations ديت بتاعت الثيرمال decomposition. Tomorrow ان شاء الله we will continue the 2 remaining equation for the thermal decomposition where I want you and I wish to study well. Thank you, Prep 3.